The Summer of Love, as it's called, when far-left extremists rioted about this great nation, causing a whole lot of problems. And there were some really, really dark moments. There was that incident in Austin where a guy was in his car. Dude walked up with a group of extremists, just call them terrorists, and he was armed. So the dude in the car saw it, fired on him. There was also the inverse where there was a guy minding his own business, driving his car, when a group ran up to his car and a BLM guy just shot the driver for no reason. And then we get this. A mother of three slammed into a group of BLM protesters, sending 50 flying across 3rd Avenue in 2020 when they attacked her car. And they did. They've offered her, at first, it was a desk appearance because they were like, we get it, man. A riot surrounds your vehicle, starts banging and screaming. You get your kid in the car. It's an adult woman, but still, your kid. And she was like, screw that, hit the gas, slammed into people. But this was a riot of violent extremists whose ideologues and ideological allies have killed already. So, of course, she panicked. Maybe even panic isn't the right word. Maybe she took action to protect her family from a violent group that was attacking her. I don't like violence. I don't think people should be going out banging on cars, and I wish these people did not get hit. I in no way enjoy seeing any of that. So first they said desk appearance. You're free to go. Just come back. Then there was outrage in the media, so they brought charges against her. They offered her a plea deal. Just take it. Just take it. Community service, 6 hours, like nothing, basically. And she said, no, I did nothing wrong. Bravo to this woman. We cannot stand by and tolerate extremist, violent political ideologues murdering people in the streets. I do not like that people got hurt, but we need the violence to stop. And this woman should not be punished for trying to flee murderous, psychotic individuals. Now, hold on. What I'm trying to get across there in that statement is what's going through your mind when they're banging on the car, trying to open the doors with, you've got your child in it. And these people, similar rioters and ideology, it's the same ideology. It's Black Lives Matter, shot people. Now, after this, you had the other moment in I believe it was Seattle, where Aaron Danielson took 2 to the chest when a guy with a BLM tattoo on his neck shot him twice. People are scared. She shouldn't take a plea deal. She should go to trial and stand her ground before a jury of her peers. She will be tried. Good. And we'll see. But it's getting crazy out there, man. It's getting so crazy that we have this story. San Francisco police clarified it would not arm robots with guns. Instead, they would be equipped with explosives. That's a real headline. I didn't believe it when I saw it. I thought it was a meme. Because this is the story that's been going around, that SF is going to use killer robots with the ability to use deadly force. Why? A robot breaks, who cares? A person dies. Yo, that's bad. These are machines. I can just see it now. It's like 100 years from now, and they're like, Tim Pool, the bigot, thought machines should break and die. I'm just saying right now, we as human life forms can't be repaired or recreated. So a robot, it's very, very difficult for it to be in a deadly force situation. Not that I'm ascribing to it any kind of soul, but for future audiences of AI individuals who have rights. I'll just point that out. Right now, we're talking about machines that can be repaired and humans who can't. So if there's a bad person, why kill him? Why have a robot do that? But we'll get into all this stuff because the reality here, where it all comes together is, crime is through the roof. And this woman was reacting to being attacked. She was not attacking. The Daily Mail says, a New York City mother of 3 who plowed her BMW into a group of BLM protesters, they were rioting if they were attacking her, in 2020 has yet again refused a plea deal in favor of a jury trial. You know what? I can respect it, but I hope Kathleen is aware she may just go to prison. She's facing 7 years in prison instead of taking 6 hours of community service. Respectable. Stand up for what you think is right. I commend that she knows she's putting herself at risk of going to prison for 7 years. Probably wouldn't happen. That's the max. They'd probably give her something else. But if she was being attacked and she was trying to protect her family from violent extremists, then she didn't do anything wrong. It's the violent extremists who we have to arrest and put on trial. Instead, it's her. I think she may go to prison. I'm not entirely sure. I don't trust these cities. There's going to be a jury that's going to say, I don't care. You attacked our ideologues. So be it. We will see. This is a very important case, mind you. And interestingly, I think this should be getting attention on par with Rittenhouse. And I get it. Rittenhouse, there was a live stream of it. There was a shooting, you know, it's crazy. But this is a woman who was also attacked and was fleeing for her life with her family. This should be getting more attention. Casillo and her, Casillo appeared in Manhattan criminal court nearly 2 years after she was accused of driving into pedestrians during a protest at the Manhattan intersection of 39th Street and 3rd Avenue. It was a riot, y'all. Casillo could face 7 years in prison after turning down the deal, which involved 6 hours of community service and a 1-year license suspension. And it also would require her to admit to committing a crime, which she did not do. Casillo and her attorney told the court they did not have an interest in the plea deal and would opt for a jury trial. They turned down the same plea deal a year ago. The Howard Beach Queen's mom had previously claimed the demonstrators had come up to her car and called her a white privilege bitch before banging on the vehicle. She said she then panicked and hit the gas when they tried to open the doors of her vehicle, which led to 9 activists being injured. Yep. In the exclusive interview with the Daily Mail last year, the mother said she feared for her daughter's life as a group of protesters started attacking her car and decided to hit the gas, eventually plowing into a group of activists. Beautiful language there, Daily Mail, in 2020. Casillo was issued no more than a desk appearance ticket for the incident and was released only hours after her arrest. Her 29-year-old daughter was also in the car at the time, but was not charged. Why would she be? She's a passenger. Casillo was later charged with reckless assault. She says, my side of the story was we were attacked by people who were going to break my daughter's window and pull her out of the car, so I feared for my life. Casillo, whose husband works as a car mechanic, told the Daily Mail. Casillo said she turned down the plea deal in December because she did not do anything wrong, saying, I'm going to court to clear my name because I'm not guilty. I feel sick. I never intended on hurting anyone. I just feared for my daughter's life more than anybody. I thought they were going to pull her out of the car, and they may have. They had, in Utah, ran up to a car and shot the driver. In Portland, they walked up to Aaron Danielson and put 2 in his chest and then lied about it and said, oh, he was trying to pepper spray them. The dude had the gun, drew the weapon first. Watch the videos. And then what happened was the shooter apparently, and maybe it's been a long time, when he shoots Aaron Danielson, hits the can of spray, causing it to explode. They're just making the black community look like thugs. One of my closest friends is a woman of color from when I was 19 years old, so it's not a black-white thing. I don't even know the color of the people that I hit. It was all mixed. That's a crazy thing to say. Video posted to social media in the aftermath showed the moment she plowed through a group of 50 Black Lives Matter protesters that night. Just say rioters, man. Damage to the 2019 black BMW sedan is clearly visible in photos from the incident. Multiple injured protesters were taken to Bellevue Hospital to be treated for their injuries. Since then, cops have been forced to guard Casillo's home of death threats sent to her and her family, her daughter, Dominique, said. When Casillo appeared in Manhattan criminal court last year, she had to be escorted into the building by security officers as a group of protesters outside compared her to a female Kyle Rittenhouse. What was I saying? Rittenhouse claimed self-defense when he shot 3 people, 2 fatally, at a Black Lives Matter riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Daily Mail, get your language correct. These aren't people peacefully protesting. In one incident in Kenosha, an old man was clubbed over the back of the head with a stone and left bleeding on the ground. Buildings were set on fire. And Kyle Rittenhouse was found to have acted in self-defense. He was later acquitted of all charges. That's right. Kathleen Casillo is Kyle Rittenhouse. Well, to everybody who is tired of violent terrorists smashing their windows and destroying their businesses, maybe. It doesn't mean what the left think it means. You know, people came out and they said Rittenhouse was a hero. Things like that. I've never said anything of the sort. It was funny. I think, was it the Young Turks? They claimed, someone claimed that I had said that. I think it was maybe Rugged Man. I was like, I never said that. Like, being forced to act in self-defense is I don't know if that's a heroic thing, right? But, people are entitled to their opinions. I'm not saying people are wrong. I'm just saying this is what I think. I think that you could argue Kyle Rittenhouse was trying to help everybody. That was heroic. He had a first aid kit and was rendering aid to these leftists who had been injured, that, sure, heroic. If that's the context, then I get it. I don't think that we should praise or encourage any kind of incident where people are injured or lose their lives. I think we should absolutely condemn those who would seek to cause that harm. I think we should absolutely commend those. Maybe I'm not going to say as heroes. I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion on the semantic understanding of the word hero. But this woman refusing to take a plea deal and saying she wants her day in court, I respect. She alleged that people who were attacking her car weren't really part of the protest, as the actual protest was a block up. They were just lingering and pulled out of nowhere before we stopped the car. We waited, watched the light turn green, then red. We did a long time and they were just there like this doing nothing. Then they walked away just a little bit so we could move. We started driving and they started attacking the car. So naturally we stopped again. And that's when they started hitting the car, cursing us out. I was really scared, honestly. Finally, there was that bit that actually cracked the window open, open on my side. And that's when my mother started to roll, Dominique said. We said we have to get out of here because they're not going to stop. And there's videos of this. People being pulled out, them jumping on the car and smashing the windows out. There was no other car around, she continued. There might have been cars behind us, but we were the first car on an empty sidewalk. So was it just like wrong place, wrong time? I don't know. She noted that it was sad because I definitely think there's some bad menaces that go and ruin protest because there were people there protesting for a cause and they were just there were people there protesting for a cause and they were just looking for a trouble. In the aftermath, Dominic said her mother was slammed as a racist on Twitter, calling it really traumatizing. People took to social media to post screenshots of her Facebook and Instagram accounts. The city reported at the time showing posts supportive of then President Donald Trump's handling of the COVID pandemic and likes for a group called I Stand with Rudy Giuliani. But Castillo has denied claims of racism, telling Daily Mail in December. One of my closest friends is a woman of color. That doesn't really do anything, to be completely honest. You don't got to say it. I don't even know the color of the people I hit. So I remember this. Look, she was arrested. They also know that Castillo did not have a prior criminal history and has no history of having hurt anybody. Her heart goes out to the victims. Don't go around slamming people's cars and attacking them and threatening them, especially at a time when riots are resulting in dead people. That's what I can say. And it's crazy that we live in this world that the instigators can be called the victims. These people were out at a riot. That's it. I don't want anybody getting hurt. But you're providing cover for them. And here's the sad reality. The extremists use peaceful protests as cover. But here's the other reality. Peaceful protesters stand by while people get violent and they call it respecting a diversity of tactics. Sure. You and a buddy, you're both mad at banks. So you both decide to go into that bank. You hold up a sign saying banks are bad because of usury and interest rates. And then your other friend decides to rob the bank. And you go, well, I'm here with him. I will provide protective cover. I don't agree with what he's doing, but got to respect a diversity of tactics. That's called being an accomplice. You'll get arrested and charged. Don't do it. In this capacity, I understand people might go out thinking they're peacefully protesting, but you've got to stop the violent extremists. There was a video out of D.C., I think it was, where a bunch of people are peacefully protesting, blocking a street. Some dude starts hacking away at the ground or something to pull up bricks, and the peaceful protesters grab him and bring him to the cops. The cops take him away, grab another guy, and I was like, no, he's cool, and the cops let him go. Oh, surprise, surprise. When you self-police, the cops stay back. They don't want to get involved. It's the craziest thing. You think that cops want to walk into a violent riot? Sure, I'm sure some do. Some of these guys are crazy. Crazy people exist. But I'll tell you this, I bet the average cop just wants to go home and watch sports and have a beer. They don't want to be there. So if you stop the extremists, they're going to be like, good, I don't got to do anything. I don't got to worry about it. But they don't. They don't. And then when these people stand by while violent extremists hurt and kill, they then say, oh, help, we're under attack, we're peaceful protesters, and the media covers it up. Cities are being riddled with crime. The Daily Mail reports cops in crime-ridden San Francisco will be able to use killer robots in deadly force situations as city's crime soars. Comes a year after woke Mayor London Breed U-turned on her decision to slash the police budget by $120 million. Yeah, welcome to the future, my friends. This is where we're going. We are heading towards a world where they're going to defund the police, and then with their limited budgets, they'll rely on robots. Robots will be marching down the street. Let me tell you how fun that's going to be. I have a Tesla. Tesla is self-driving, and there's problems. Heaven forbid. So on Route 340 out in West Virginia, there are stoplight ahead signs, and they have yellow flashing lights. It's a big yellow box, and it says something like stoplight ahead or something like that. And then it's got two yellow lights that flicker in and out. The Tesla vehicle thinks it's a yield light, like it's a yellow light. So you know what happens when you're auto driving? It will just slam its brakes on the highway when it sees it. And then you've got to tap the accelerator to make it stop and keep going. Not all the time. It stopped. It was doing it before. There's other instances where I was driving on the road, and it was like an 8-lane, it was like a 6-lane highway, like 3 on one side, 3 on the other, with a median. And because you're in a rural area, there are turnouts on the highway. So a pickup truck pulls into the median and stops. And I'm driving in the Tesla, and it's on autopilot. They have full self-driving now, because I'm like, let's see. And then all of a sudden, for no reason, it slammed the brakes on all the way on a highway with a 65 mile an hour speed limit. And I was like, we just jerked forward. I like Tesla. I think Elon does a good job. It's actually a really awesome thing. Just because there's a couple of problems, I'm trying to rag on Tesla. What I'm trying to point out is when your vehicle slams the brakes on, it's dangerous. Most of the time, we've not noticed any other problems, and it's really cool that you can be sitting in the car, you got to keep your hand on the wheel, and it just drives itself, and you're kind of just like, wow, this is crazy. It is really cool, like turns and everything, it pulls in. It's really cool. But there are problems. A human is still better than this machine. You release killer robots, they're going to make big mistakes. Someone's going to be holding a cell phone, and it's going to be like foreign object, deadly threat perceived. And it was a cell phone. Hey, cops do it all the time. I know. But police can still make better decisions in this capacity. Slamming the brakes on, and also periodically it'll be like forward collision warning when I'm like on a straight, I'm like, what's happening? Like the road's totally clear. Why is it saying that? Imagine what happens if a robot gets a false deadly force warning and then it fires a taser even or hits somebody. Like, you know, that man robot that walks around that Boston Dynamics has? What if it goes boom and punches someone in the chest to stop them, thinking like less lethal, and the person wasn't doing anything? So anyway, let me wrap this together, my friends. This is where we're headed. They're going to defund the police and then say, how can we keep costs down? Cheaper to maintain a robot. You buy it one time, doesn't got to pay a salary, right? Release the robots and give them lethal force, because then when two people are fighting and one person is fighting for survival, the robot won't know the difference. So what? How do you tell the robot who to take action against? Well, here's the good news. It's not going to be guns. Explosives. What? They're going to blow up? Just kill everybody? Welcome to the future, man. City Supervisor Raphael Mandelman said SFPD will have access to 7 robots designed to neutralize, dispose of bombs, and provide video reconnaissance for operators. None of the robots will have firearms attached, but Mandelman said they could be asked to carry out deadly force in extreme situations. We get it. The bomb squad sends they want to detonate the device or try to if they think it's a threat. They'll also have the ability, none of the robots will have firearms, but they could be asked to carry out deadly force. So like what? Slowly go over a man's neck and then just squeeze or something? Under the strict policy, SFPD is authorized to use the robots to carry out deadly force in extremely limited situations when risk to loss of life to members of the public or officers is imminent and outweighs any other force option available. Okay, let's be realistic. What this probably means is that they're going to deploy a robot into like a hostage situation or into like if there's a shootout. Let's say there's a guy pinned behind a building. They'll send in the robot and the robot will be allowed to kill the person. I get it. I do, man. I mean, what do you do? Will you stop a madman, a shooter, by any means necessary? Think about those cops in Uvalde who were too scared to go in. If they sent in a robot could have done something or at least tried to. And then the madman wouldn't be able to stop the robot because the bullets wouldn't be as effective against a robot than it would be against a human. I do think there are certain circumstances where it makes sense, and we shouldn't immediately just have a knee-jerk reaction of like, oh no. But I do fear what this opens the door to. Defunding the police and other crackpot nonsense, and then making up the difference with AI death robots. Sounds not fun. Now we sit here and say, oh, come on, Tim, that's not going to happen. You kidding me? I remember back in 2008, you know that meme where it's like, what did it say? If we legalize gay marriage, none of these things are going to happen. And then like they happened. And I'm not saying they're a direct result of legalizing gay marriage. The point I'm making is Don't come out and be like, a thing can't happen, because then you'll be surprised when it actually does. The fact that we are expanding these robots and that they've already been deployed for law enforcement purposes, some of these dog bots and things like that, we've already seen the videos of them equipped with fully automatic weapons. They're going to go to war. Then once the war is over, they're going to get repurposed and sent in for domestic use. They're going to be like, hey, we got a potential shooting, deploy the dogs. And then the robo dogs are going to run out with their guns and they're going to seek out threats. It's going to get crazy, man. Hey, I'm hoping things stay chill. And for the time being, as it pertains to the violent extremists, and to wrap this story up, we'll see what happens to this woman. She's not the same as Kyle Rittenhouse. There are similarities. I think the story of her should be way, way bigger based on what happened. This is a similar situation where far left extremists were attacking innocent people, and the innocent people said, I will not just sit by, and defended themselves. And it is unfortunate that the violence happens. They're trying to compare it to Rittenhouse, so be it. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.